welcome. It's good to be back on campus and be able to talk about a great group of guys. I know they've been much talked about in this day and age from the time many of them were sophomores and juniors and visiting various campuses, and some of you have talked to some of the prospects as much or more than we have. But as you can tell from our list, it's an outstanding group of young men, some excellent students, and a great cross-section. I think we have 13 on the offensive side and 12 on the defensive side. We can have a little scrimmage just with this class. It's a good-sized group. I think it's our largest group since the 2002 recruiting class of 25 guys, and I think it has a lot of talent. It has a lot of versatility. There are some guys on the list that you really don't know which side of the ball they're going to end up playing because they've been very good at both, and you never know until they get here and get comfortable and find out where the opportunities lie to get on the field as quickly as they can. There's a good diversity in where they're from, 14 Ohio guys, and then we have 6 different states represented with the other 11 guys. And first and foremost, I would have to tell you that our coaching staff did a tremendous job in this recruiting world we live in. The recruiting is ongoing, and I think they do a good job of keeping it in the right perspective. There's only so many hours in the day for our staff, and they don't want to lose sight of the most important guys, and that's the guys that are here. Yet on the other hand, the recruiting is something that's very time-consuming, but we also want to respect the high school programs, and we try to tell the high school coaches that we're not going to distract while we recruit. We're not going to take any of the focus away from their teams, and a good number of these guys come off excellent football teams that were playoff teams and battling for conference championships and state championships, and we know that the guys we're recruiting are very important to their schools in that effort to be champions, and it's something they'll remember the rest of their lives, those opportunities to be champions at the high school level. And so our coaches, I think, do a great job of making sure the prospects know that Ohio State's very interested, and Ohio State's going to do all we can possibly do, but yet on the other hand, we make sure that we have them keep in mind that their high school studies and their high school teams and their high school relationships, the fun they're having in high school is still very important, and we don't ask that they arrive at Ohio State in their minds earlier than they should. And so I think our coaches do a tremendous job. Our recruiting office with Greg Gillum and Amy Burgess and Betty Affold making all the travel arrangements and so forth for our guys, and then all of the support staff throughout the campus. Our folks in the student housing, our folks in the Academic Success Center, and Darren Meeker and David Graham and Stan Jefferson and all those guys that make sure the families and the players know that when you come to Ohio State, it's not just about football. It's imperative that we make sure that they grow as men and grow as students and become graduates of Ohio State, and they make that crystal clear that that's very important. We appreciate all the work that our compliance office does because it's very visible, and we want to make sure we do things properly and represent Ohio State from that standpoint as well as we can. So truly is a tremendous group effort, and so on a day like this, we certainly have to make sure that everyone knows that there are a lot of people that go into having a recruiting class like this, and someone asked me on a national radio thing today, what's one of the most important things that made it possible for you guys to get a good recruiting class, and it starts with the fact that this is Ohio State, and Ohio State has so much to offer, and kids have interest in it at the beginning, at least to look at it, and then the people take over, and whatever people they meet across the campus, and no matter what interview they're in with, whether they get to meet Dr. Gee or Gene Smith talks to them, or the academic sector or a faculty member or whatever it happens to be, their impression of Ohio State is even more strengthened beyond the beautiful stadium and the great tradition. Archie's here today, and we brag about Archie Griffin constantly, and all the great folks that have have played this game here and gone on and done tremendous things. And so it's a huge group effort, and this is a fine group. People ask all the time, well, which one is going to come in and help you right away? And the only thing I can tell you is that there's 4 guys that are here right away. In fact, they were here before we were back from the bowl game. They were sitting here in class on Monday when we were traveling back from Phoenix, and you'll get a chance to hear from them today. This will be their first chance at Speech 101. So I hope you guys have your speeches ready. And who was the first one that arrived, Coach Gillum? Who was the first one on campus? It was Adam in first, so Adam will go first. And we'll just go down the row from there. Not yet, Adam. Don't get your speech ready. Okay? Just giving you a moment. Then you'll get to hear from a couple parents. I think Don Uhort has volunteered on behalf of the parents, and I think Hope Bourne. Is Hope here? Okay, Hope volunteered. We have gender equity. We have to have a mom and a dad, so they'll get a chance to visit for a minute. And then I think Coach Peterson always likes an opportunity to talk with this group, and we'll have a chance to watch some highlights. We'll have a chance to do some breakouts with some one-on-ones, but so we'll go to work on it. I think the way we'd like to start, Coach Gillum, is show the video first, make sure that everyone kind of sees what we saw, and as we saw guys on video that we thought could help us be Big Ten and national champions, then the real work began. What were their academics? We had to find out about what they were as people within their school, and their community, and their team, and then had a chance to see if they mesh with the young people on our campus. And I guess the other thing, I'm sure Greg and John Peterson and all the coaches would mention, is that we couldn't have this recruiting class if it weren't for our current players. Because when these guys that are contemplating coming to Ohio State meet our guys that are currently at Ohio State, it's a tremendous advantage for us.